Hey, welcome to Leading with Gratitude Live. This is a special edition because we like to highlight just really good people that we've met that are doing really amazing things and writing great books. So let me introduce to you my new friend, Andy Storch. He's an author. He's a speaker. He's just all-around great guy. I said, how do you want to be introduced? He goes, look, I'm a million things. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a friend. So aren't we all? And he's written this wonderful new book. Yeah, there we go. Author, speaker, great guy. By the way,
I like it.
Quick shout out to our amazing producer, Christy Lawrence in Atlanta, Georgia. She makes all the magic happen. And Greg, welcome to the broadcast. You know, Andy, we love our gratitude community. They'll jump in. They come in from all around the world. It's going to be fun. But tell us about your new book. First off, it's available on Amazon and everywhere fine books are sold. Am I right? Own Your Career, Own Your Life. That's right. I love the subtitle, too. It says, own your career, own your life. Stop drifting and take control of your future. So why did you write the book, Andy?
Well, first off, Chester, thank you for having me on. I want to start with gratitude. I am so grateful for you. We connected a while back through the great Marshall Goldsmith and hit it off as fast friends. And I'm just so grateful for this opportunity that you're giving me today. And I start every day with gratitude. I think it's so important when you are really ambitious to also balance that with gratitude and mindfulness for everything you have going in life. As far as why I wrote the book, I've been in corporate consulting for about the last 9 years. I've worked with executives and companies across different industries all over the world. And I've learned so much and I've had so many great experiences. And as I've gotten really deep into personal development over the last few years, one thing I've noticed, especially in the corporate world, is a lot of people tend to be drifting along through their career and through their life. They're operating in reaction mode. They're kind of waiting for other people to tell them what to do, waiting for their boss to come to them with an opportunity. Maybe they're unhappy with a situation and not really taking the time to go deep, dive in and figure out what is it that I'm unhappy with? What would I really like to have? Or maybe they are dreaming of something different, but not really taking any action, any initiative to go out there and achieve that. And so I wrote this book because I want to wake some people up. I want to give people some really great advice that they can use to start operating with intention, to really take ownership of their careers, take action on their goals, and prepare for the future, whatever that may be. It's a job you want to go after. Maybe you lose a job. Maybe a global pandemic hits and all of a sudden everything changes. Those things change everything. And the more you do to set yourself up for success now, the better prepared you're going to be. And so I wrote this book for people. I want to make a huge impact with this book. I want to change lives. I've poured my heart and soul, all of my experience, my learning from hundreds of interviews into this, and the feedback has been overwhelming. I'm so excited.
I couldn't tell. I love your passion. And by the way, we're live streaming on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. We don't have any followers on Twitch. We live stream there because we can. We have one follower. It's actually my son. So I'll make sure he buys the book. And
Nice.
listen, thank you for putting in where you're from. We got Johannesburg in the house. We've got India in the house. We've got the U.S. I love, the reach of technology. Now, tell me a little bit about, you talk about being intentional with your career. And I am such a big fan of executive coaching. I so wish that I'd had a coach and a mentor, because I am the guy you're talking about. I kind of drifted through my career. It wasn't so much about developing a career. It was just getting a raise, getting a promotion.
Right. Yep.
And then there was a certain time when I stepped back and said, I probably would have been better off to not do that and really be. So give us a couple of tips as a coach when you're coaching somebody to be more intentional about their career. How do you start them off?
Well, by the way, I also am guilty, if you will, of drifting through a lot of my career, my 20s. I have no idea what I was doing through that time, right? And I talk about all that in the book. This isn't a book to say, I've got it all figured out and let me show you. I've been through all these experiences. I've made the mistakes. And if you have been drifting, if you've made the mistakes, a lot of people get into a career because they choose a major their parents recommend or their friends recommend, and they go from one job to the next. This is not about feeling guilty for the past, right? This is about getting intentional now and moving into the future with more intention, really taking ownership of your career. And this comes down to thinking about, where do you really want to go? Where do you want to be? And can you get specific with the actions that you're going to take to get there? That might be having a conversation with your manager, having conversations with colleagues, doing research on the different careers and things that you might want to get into, connecting more deeply with your purpose, right? And the purpose of your company and your organization that you want to, that you work for, and asking yourself, why do I go to work every day? And is there enough of a reason for that? Or do I need something more? And starting to set some real goals and taking action to go after that. I know I went back a little bit to what we were talking about before. I want to make sure I addressed your question, Chester, because I think I might have missed part of it.
Well, it's where do you start? And I love this idea about what is it that you're really passionate about? What is it that really excites you to come to work? And what I love about this platform and being able to broadcast is, we've got Megan from Nambia, and we've got Faisal from Saudi Arabia, we've got Nigeria in the house, we've got Nicholas from Ghana. I always have to give a shout out to the Canadians. I grew up in Canada. We got Montreal. We've got, Dalian Zogbo. I hope I said that right, Dalian, from Montreal. And no matter where in the world where you go to work, when you wake up to go to work, if you don't have that passion, it just makes work drudgery, doesn't it? So how do you match up the people you're coaching where you say, look, this is what you're passionate about. Here's what you should be doing at work. Yeah. Can you walk us through a couple of practical tools?
Yeah. And you reminded me too, one of the benefits, and I wish I had a coach earlier in my career. I hire coaches now, and it's so beneficial. And I love coaching and helping other people as well. One of the big benefits of having a coach, or maybe a really good friend who takes on this role, or a manager that takes on this role, is that you get questions about where do you want to get to? What is your passion? What do you enjoy? Most people don't take much time for self-reflection. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What is your passion? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? And by the way, this is not another one of those books that says, oh, follow your passion, right? Because your passion may not be monetizable. It may not be connected to your career. Maybe you have a hobby that you love, doing art or writing or something. That's totally fine. And it's not part of your career. I think it's more about getting practical with, do you have a driving force? Do you have something that gets you excited, or a reason that you go to work besides they pay me and they tell me to show up at 9 o'clock, right? Can you connect, right? Can you connect something you care about to the work you do? And if not, are there adjustments that can be made within your career? Can you talk to your manager about it? Do you agree with what your company stands for? The benefit you get from having a coach, whether it's me or anybody, is that you get a lot of these questions, right, that cause you to stop and reflect and think, am I in the right place? Am I heading in the right direction? What adjustments could I make? And a lot of times it's really just about small adjustments. I'm not here telling everybody, if you're not happy in your job, you need to quit and go get something else, because it's not easy, right? But there could be some small tweaks you could make. There were many times in my career when I realized that I wasn't completely happy. And one of the big reasons was I wasn't really getting a chance to leverage my strengths as I learned more about those as I went. And so I would go to my manager and say, here's what I really enjoy doing. Could we adjust my job to fit more in line with my strengths and the things that I really enjoy? And sometimes my manager said no, and I ended up moving on to different jobs. And a couple times they said yes and tailored a job for me that allowed me to get into something I really enjoyed, that led me to get to where I am today. But the point is, I took the initiative, and I didn't always, but that when you take that initiative and start that conversation, you start with that reflection, you start by having that conversation and setting those goals, the happier you're going to be, the more you're going to start heading in the right direction.
It's so interesting in our work in culture. We came across a wonderful study that said, when you're happy and engaged and motivated at work, you're 150% more likely to be happy and engaged in your personal life. And I think that's what you're talking about. It's the whole person, right? Let's be happy at work. Let's be happy in our lives. By the way, I want to point out that Dalian Zogbo in Montreal, I did say her name right. And so I know that, when you create a great workplace, it's, get my name right. It's Chester, it's not Chet, So Talk to us about in the book, do you go into more than just the workplace? It really is personal development. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. In fact, I've been telling people for months that this book is really a personal development book disguised as a career development book. So for those of you listening, if you're looking at getting this book, if you think that this is like a resume career book or something, it's not, right? This is a personal development book. This is about improving your life and getting the most out of life, living your best life, fulfilling your true potential. My mission in life is to fulfill my true potential and inspire others to do the same. And I want to do that with this book. And when you really think about it today, more than ever, our work and personal lives are becoming integrated, right? When people talk about work-life balance, I don't know if that really exists anymore. I think about work-life integration. How do we integrate all that, especially under COVID, where most people, at least in like office white collar jobs, are working remotely now and virtually, and you're seeing people's kids and pets and all that stuff. And we're really getting into each other's personal lives, which is totally fine. I talk a lot about in this book about the importance of prioritizing, the importance of setting boundaries and having balance, thinking about your goals and where you want to go, and then being really honest with yourself and others about what's important to you. Because if your goal is to be the CEO of a company one day, and you want to pull out all the stops to get there, you might be working 80 hours a week. And if that's your goal, that's totally fine. But if you say that family is the most important thing to you, like it is to me, and you want to have dinner with your family every night, like I do, you may need to set some boundaries. You may need to make some trade-offs. You may need to turn some opportunities down and maybe not work as much so that you can make sure you spend that time with your family. And there's no right or wrong answer. It's completely up to you how you live your life, just like people get confused about the definition of success. The definition of success is very personal as well. And one of the things I talk about in this book is that you shouldn't set your goals based on other people's goals, right? We see it so often, right? So-and-so is going after that promotion or trying to be CFO one day, so I'm going to try that too. But what if that's not something that really matters to you? What if it doesn't connect to your values and purpose? This is about thinking about who you are, where you want to be, being honest about that, setting goals to go in that direction, and then set your values, set your schedule to be that. Just because your friend is moving up and getting promotions, if you are spending more time with your family and maybe you're not getting promotions as fast, that's okay, right? Because you are living your life, they're living theirs. We're all on a journey, and there's no trophy or awards at the end of life for those who are, quote, more successful.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I love your approach. Work-life balance is I think is impossible. Your life is always out of balance. And Fasil, I was just going to call you out, Fasil. I'm going to get his name wrong. Sorry about that. People leave their bosses. They don't leave their organizations. It really is true. Like you said, I went to my boss. I said, hey, can I do more of this? And sometimes I could, and sometimes I couldn't. That's part of the game. Now, there is a question here I want to get to, and it's from Nicholas. And Nicholas says, what's your view on micromanaging? He believes that it kills motivation.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting. Tell me if you've had this experience, is that I don't want my work to be micromanaged. I don't mind if I get some micromanaging on my career. Like I like to have lots of conversations about where I'm going in my career. Don't micromanage my day-to-day.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? I mean, that's come out particularly with millennials saying, look, give me my job, give me my resources. Let me have some fun and do it. When it comes to my career, though, I want to have frequent conversations. Am I on track there? Is that good feedback or not?
Yeah, definitely. There's a big difference between micromanagement and accountability. People do not like micromanagement. People need accountability and want coaching and advice from managers and others. I'm a big fan of I can't talk now. The book Multipliers by Liz Weissman. I know you know Liz. She spoke at the conference I hosted back in January. I've run a lot of workshops based on her book. If you've looked at her work at all, the number one most common reported trait of a quote diminisher, bosses that people don't like working for, is micromanaging. People do not like to be micromanaged. And when someone is micromanaging, if you are a boss and you are micromanaging, the reason it really happens is out of fear. It's because you don't think that they're going to be able to do the job and it's going to reflect poorly on you. But people want to be trusted. They want to be enabled. So you don't want to micromanage. And I don't think anybody wants to be micromanaged. But I talk about in the book the importance of accountability. If you are going after a big goal, you're trying to change careers, you're trying to get a promotion, you're trying to become a director one day, it's important to write down those goals. The next most important thing you can do is get some accountability. So tell someone, find an accountability partner, have a manager, and talk to them and say, hey, I don't want you to oversee everything I do, but I'm trying to get to this next level. What are the things I need to do? And can you hold me accountable on that? Check in with me on a weekly basis and say, hey, did you take on that next project? Did you go above and beyond and do that thing? Did you submit that report? That's totally fine. That's accountability versus overseeing every part and saying, oh, you did this right, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, I would have done it this way. That's annoying.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit. Obviously, our show is leading with gratitude, right? Yeah. You and I, before the show came up, and on other occasions, we've had conversations about the importance of, leading with gratitude, including gratitude in your career planning. So expound on that a little bit. What role does gratitude play? And by the way, before you answer that question, love the engagement in the chat box here. Ask some questions. Listen, this is a life personal development expert. This is your chance, free of charge.
That's right.
Get some great advice from Andy.
Bring it.
You go to his website, ownyourcareer.ownyourlife.com. But now let's get back to gratitude. Tell me why that it becomes so important.
There's the book.
There's the book.
Gratitude is everything. When I discovered that, my gosh, I mean, it's so important to have a daily practice and also to bring it into your life when you're faced with difficult situations. And it also connects back to, you've got those ambitious goals, those things you're going after. You're going to see other people that are achieving things. You're going to run into challenges. Things are not going to work out the way you planned or go your way. A lot of times things do not go perfectly. They certainly don't for me. Challenges come up all the time. And I find that when I check in with gratitude, it's hard. People forget sometimes what they have. Everybody has things to be grateful for. Tony Robbins says that it's impossible to be angry and anxious when also being grateful. So when you are focusing on gratitude, it allows you to be a lot happier with your life, because no matter where you are in your career and your life, you are in the right place right now. You are poised to go out and succeed. And when I'm faced with these challenges, and I'll just give you one to be openly personal, right? I don't know if you saw my post about this, Chester, but I had plenty of challenges leading up to publishing this book. And then I was doing everything for this book launch. I got some crazy news a couple of weeks ago that I might have testicular cancer, and I'm actually going in for surgery this week to take care of that. And I am at peace with all of it. And part of the reason is because I'm so grateful for everything I have. I have a wife and children who love me. I have a family who take care of me. I have tons and tons of friends who reached out to me when they heard the news. I know I have a lot of support, and I know that everything is going to be fine. And even if, every time I go after a big goal, I hosted a virtual summit this year. I'm launching a book. I'm launching all kinds of other things. Even if things don't work out as planned, I can check back in with gratitude. Like, yeah, that book launch didn't go that well, but I still have my wife, I still have my kids, I still have a roof over my head, I still have tons of things to be grateful for. And no matter what's going on in your life, I think you can always be grateful for something, even if it's just a nice cup of coffee in the morning. That's all you need. And so I keep a journal and I write my gratitude every single morning, and I love it. I think it keeps me grounded and reminds me of what we can appreciate in life.
That is so great. And, Andy, so often, as we write our books and we interview leaders, we ask them about their careers, and they almost always start off with, it was the worst of times, right? And why do they do that? Because that's who you really find out who you are, right? Yeah. Instead of saying, why me, woe is me. Yeah. What can I learn? How can I go forward? I love the way you've embraced this bad news and turned it right around and said, gosh, look at all the support I've got. Look at this wonderful family I have.
Yeah.
My wife and I have a gratitude practice that I've shared often with people. And at the end of the day, we say, what are your three? What are three things you're grateful for today? And it leads to just a great conversation. Your days are longer than you think, right? And it's kind of interesting too that you say in the morning, when your feet hit the ground, my morning mantra is be kind, be grateful, be of service. And thank you, Doctor, for best wishes.
And can I jump in, Chester? Sorry, I want to just give a little bit more value here because I have a chapter on this, how to handle challenges when they come up in your life. There are three questions that I really like to ask that have helped me immensely when I'm faced with challenges. Number one is, what's great about this? Almost every challenge comes with some type of silver lining if you dig deep enough to find it. Number two is, what can I learn from this? So even when things are terrible, we can often learn some really great lessons from those. And number three is, what does this make possible? And this is a question that I love to ask when people reach out to me. And it's happened many times throughout this pandemic to tell me that they've been laid off. And it's unfortunate. It's hard to handle. It's happened in a lot of industries. But what does this make possible? Have you been thinking about changing careers anyway? Have you been thinking about doing something different? This creates a whole new opportunity that maybe didn't exist until this happened. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's hard in the moment, but it is definitely can create amazing opportunities for you by asking the right questions.
I love that. I love that. What does this make possible? What a great question. Deeper relationships. I mean, just think about it. You just mentioned it here on our show, and already you've got people from around the world that are sending you their blessings and their prayers. As Christy Lawrence says, I love this community. I love,
Amazing.
Thank you so much. You just met Andy and you're sending blessings and prayers his way. Thank you, Aaron Fraser and Dalian and Dr. Shambhavi Rajagopal. And I hope I said that right.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, it's hopefully it's phonetic. Wonderful best practices. And I love those three questions. So people can get your book and information and Own Your Career, ownyourlife.com. I knew this would go quickly. We like to keep our shows to 30 minutes. We've got 5 minutes left. Put any more questions, any more best wishes you have in the chat box. Talk to me a little bit about a coaching experience you had where this philosophy and bringing it really brought about dynamic change for someone that you were coaching.
That's an interesting question. I've worked with a lot of people to, really think through how they want to, address and where they want to go in their careers. My favorite recently has been working with a lot of leaders and going back to that question, that topic about micromanagement. I've seen a lot of great light bulbs go off with leaders when I talk about pulling back from that micromanagement and being a better coach, asking more questions rather than telling. I think and this is for all of you out there who you're in a manager position, you manage others, you oversee others, you mentor others. There's a lot of pressure out there. People feel pressure to try to be the smartest person in the room, but that is not what leadership is. You do not have to be the smartest person in the room to be a leader. Being a leader is about enabling the people around you, helping them get their job done, and making it easy for them. And that usually means asking questions, being curious, being helpful. And that would lead me to something I get asked about and I coach a lot of people on, which is networking. I have 2 full chapters in this book all about how to build a powerful network to set you up for success in the future. And when people ask me about networking, how to build a network, how to go out and build new relationships, the number one tip I always give is be curious. Always lead with curiosity. And that will serve you well in anything you do for your entire career. As many of you know, just before you make any assumptions, before you give any advice, before you try to tell your life story, start with being curious, ask people questions, get to know them, find out what they're striving for, what they're challenged with, see if you can help them with anything. And you'll find that you'll often be rewarded throughout your life, just like I have been. And I'm so grateful for all the friends I've made, just like you, Chester, who have helped me along the way, because I have always been seeking to help them.
Yes, what you put out into the universe, it comes back. I'm a big believer in karma. Well, one of the reasons we do this is to get the word out and so that people will buy books. And Greg Mitchell says, "Hey, I'm going to check out your book." So good. Hector, thank you. Yeah, thank you for your contributions. Pooja, I love the best wishes. You're totally inspirational leader and author. And Carmen, congratulations on the book. I love the conversation in the community. Well, listen, we've got a couple of minutes. We're going to wrap up. We ask every guest that we have, #find your gratitude. Where did you find your gratitude, Andy? What are you grateful for so far today?
Oh my gosh, today is an amazing day because today's launch day for my book. So, first and foremost, I'm grateful for my wife and my kids for always being there with me every step of the way. I'm grateful for mentors. I've had some great coaches and mentors throughout the last year who have really helped me with this process. One of them is Honoré Corridor, who has published over 50 books, and I've gone through her course, and I've learned so much from her about publishing a book. I'm grateful for everyone in my network who has been posting about the book and sharing about it today. My advanced reader team, I invited people to be on my early reader team and get an early copy of the book and give me feedback. I got so much great feedback, and I was able to make adjustments before the public launch today. And I'm so grateful for people taking the time to do that. It is absolutely amazing, and just grateful for the outpouring of support from all of my friends. And I'm just grateful for life. Anything is possible. You can go out and do almost anything. I'm not going to say you can do anything, right? I'm too old to be a professional baseball player at this point, probably. But if you have big goals, you can go try to achieve them if you set your mind to it and just be intentional and truly own your career and own your life. I'm so grateful for all of that and for the opportunity to help people with their lives.
It's great. Yes, for one thing, you get 10. It's your value.
I'm sorry.
You get value. No, are you kidding? It was wonderful. It was more than wonderful. Well, listen, this has been Leading with Gratitude Live, a special edition to promote our good friend Andy Storch's new book, Own Your Career, Own Your Life. Check it out. It's available on Amazon. It's digital. It's all over the place. It'll help you become a better leader and create a better life. Can't tell you how grateful I am for our community, for everybody that tuned in from all around the world, Osama and Aaron and Anita and Hector and Pooja and Greg and all the doctors, all the PhDs. I'm always so impressed when the PhDs show up. Jorge and Dalian. And thank you so much for giving us your time today to learn a little bit more about a great book that'll help you own your career and own your life. Grateful for our friendship, Andy. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Chester. I'm grateful for you and this opportunity. Thank you.
Hey, listen, be kind, be grateful, be of service. It's not just a better way to lead. It's a better way to live. Lead and live with gratitude. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Thanksgiving's coming up. Enjoy.